Part 1. When you go shopping, do you prefer to pay for things in cash or by card?
Actually, I prefer to pay by card because it's much easier and more convenient, and you don't have to carry a lot of money with you.
Do you ever save money to buy special things?
Of course I do, especially for buying gadgets and electronic things. I always save money.
Would you ever take a job which had low pay?
It depends on the situation, actually. For example, if I were really in need of money, maybe I would do that. Or if I were living in another country and I just needed to get a job in order to be able to stay in that country, to get somehow residence in that country, so I would have to take that job. So it depends on the situation.
Would winning a lot of money make a big difference to your life?
Of course it would, not only in my life, but also in anyone else's life. Of course it would make a great difference. You could do lots of things with that huge amount of money.
Part 2. Describe an interesting discussion you had as part of your work or studies. You should say what the subject of the discussion was, who you discussed the subject with, what opinions were expressed, and explain why you found the discussion interesting.
Thank you. Right. I remember some years ago, some of my colleagues and I were just in the teacher's room and we had a discussion about different approaches used in language teaching. Most of them were in favor of communicative approach, but I didn't quite agree with them. Of course, it doesn't mean that I'm against communicative approach, but I just thought that not only this approach, but also a variety of other approaches and methods should be used in the domain of language teaching. I know even some approaches which actually are thought to be outdated these days, such as audiolingual method, grammar translation method. It is good to use them in classes also, but they didn't actually agree with me. My point was that actually we should try, as I told you, we should try to make use of a variety of methods. For example, audiolingual method has a focus on grammar. People don't go to English class just to be able to speak without being able to actually use the grammar correctly. Grammar is also important, so by the use of audiolingual method they will be able to actually make correct sentences, because there are lots of repetition drills, substitution drills, things like that. But my colleagues didn't quite agree with me, as I told you. They actually these days most new teachers, most young teachers, I will say, tend to underestimate the importance of grammar, which is not good in my opinion. And Yeah, I found the discussion interesting because it was relevant to my job and my field of study. And yeah, I really liked it.
Part 3. Why is it good to discuss problems with other people?
When you discuss problems with other people, you get lots of new ideas and new perspectives, things that you have never thought of before. And so I guess it's good as long as it doesn't create tension among you, it will be good, I guess.
Do you discuss problems with other people?
Yes, but not as much as before, because I've recently come to realize that you cannot always convince people to agree with you on different topics. So I sometimes do, but not as much as before.
Do you think that it's better to talk to friends and not family about problems?
Yeah, of course I do, because your friends are usually the same age as you. They are usually experiencing the same things, or maybe they have experienced the things that you are experiencing these days before. So they understand you better. They are more understanding than family members, and family members actually might be older than you, and there might be a big generation gap between you. So they're not always able to understand you in that special situation.
How about you? Do you usually talk to your friends or your family about your problems?
I don't usually talk to anyone about my problems. If I want to talk to someone about my problems, I prefer to talk to my husband because he understands me better than anyone else, because we have the same job and also we are the same age, so we understand each other much better.
Is it always a good idea to tell lots of people about a problem?
Not really, because not everyone actually really cares about your problems, and there are some people who might pretend to be your friend, but they are not actually, so they might even feel happy. There are some people who might even feel happy when you have a problem, or they might actually feel jealous of you being happy.
Which communication skills are most important when taking part in meetings with colleagues?
Well, there are there are a series of techniques which are really important in communication with others, such as listening to other people. When you listen to someone when they are speaking, you show respect and you show that you really care about what they are saying. And one other thing is to always wear a smile on your face, and because it makes a good impression, especially when you are meeting someone for the first time. And also taking notes. Yeah, when you take notes, again, you show that you care what other people actually are saying. You care about what other people are saying.
What are the possible effects of poor written communication skills at work?
Well, you wouldn't be able to get the meaning across, which might lead to misunderstanding, and as a result of that, some of the customers might actually complain about you to the manager, which might again lead to being fired from work.
What do you think will be the future impact of technology on communication in the workplace?
Well, technology has always played a prominent role in different domains, such as workplace. For example, these days there are different pieces of software which actually facilitate workflow between people, and people would be able actually to work on the same project at the same time. They can easily share files, share ideas, things like that with the help of technology.
Thank you.
You're welcome.